Okay, I think we're live. Can you let us know in chat if you can hear us and see us coming through? Just put 1 or something. Let us know where you're coming from. But I think we're all here. Awesome. Hey, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you.
Cool. Let's maybe give people a couple seconds to get settled. There's a bit of a lag here, so it's always nice to wait a little bit. Bunch of people on the chat. I feel like the chat is getting livelier and livelier as we do more of these sessions, Harry.
Dope. Look, everybody's in chat. Awesome. Hello from Brazil. Yep. Albania in the chat. Awesome. Cool. Hello, everyone. Good to see you. Nice. Tenerife, Kansas City, California, Nigeria. Whoa, everybody from around the world. Loud and clear from Finland, Bangalore, Greece, San Diego. Cool. We're really worldwide today. No pressure, guys.
Cool. All right, but let's get started. I think people are tuning in. Looks like we're live. So we are the team at Lovable hosting these live streams. We normally have very special guests join them. This is no exception. Most of you know what Lovable is, but for you that might not know, Lovable is basically, you can think of it as your personal AI engineer that you can describe your idea to and sort of get a fully working product on the other end. And you'll see a lot of this. If this is not clear today, we're going to be building live in this session. So if that's unclear, don't worry, more to come. We'll do a quick round of intros in the beginning. I'll start with myself. So my name's Christian. I'm part of the product team here at Lovable, doing everything from talking to users, customers, and a lot of prompting as well. I'll send it over to you, Harry.
Hi, guys. I'm just like, I like to think of myself as a Lovable ambassador. I love the tool, build a lot of stuff for clients with Lovable, and just love the product. I'm here to help as much as I can. So if you have any questions, put them in chat, and I'll try and make sure that we answer as many as we can.
And then we have a very special guest, Sebastian from the Make team. And I'd love for you, Sebastian, to tell us a little bit about yourself and also what you guys are building at Make and how it connects to Lovable. And
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Harry, and thanks to Lovable team for being here today. I hope you hear me well. And yeah, super excited being here over at Make. What we're building, we're trying to build the best automation product on the market that's most accessible and easy to use for customers and gives also playing excitement feeling. And yeah, super happy to be here building live today. It's always something really great what I like to do in my webinars at Make as well. So super happy to be here.
Woohoo, nice.
Cool. All right. We also have Stefan from our community manning the chat as well, and we have some Make folks also will be answering a lot of the questions. So we're gonna do live building. As Sebastian said, this is not for the faint-hearted. It's sort of open-ended and it has its risks. So we're gonna keep it real. But before transitioning into the building and prompting, just maybe some light housekeeping on our side for the Lovable team. So last week we shipped custom domains. This basically allows you to connect personal domain to your Lovable app and make it sort of truly yours. So please check that out. We also ship some updates to project settings, and we try to make it a bit more intuitive. So you can now find project settings on the top left corner of the editor, and you should have some of the configuration for Supabase and GitHub are now like full screen, giving you more space and making it more manageable. And we've also added the monthly credits counter on the menu for quick access. So feel free to also check that out and give us any feedback. And mostly we've been focusing this past couple of weeks on like a lot of improvements and fixes on reliability. We sent out a changelog yesterday detailing them, but expect much more updates on the sort of reliability front. We're going to be kind of really focusing on this going forwards. So that's on housekeeping, and now maybe asking you, Sebastian, like what exactly are we going to be building today, and what is Make going to enable, and who is this live stream for, maybe?
Yes. So first of all, what we're going to build is one of the most used use cases across the software as a service industry. We're going to build a CRM system. And in that CRM system, we are going to use Make to enhance the CRM system, to get calling out, to get live data enrichment, and additionally sending emails. I got yesterday some comments on LinkedIn. We'll try to pick them up, how to secure this. I played a bit around with it. Also in the past, I really like Lovable, and I'm spending most of my evenings and nights with it, actually building some smaller tools with it. So I'm really excited, passing on also my knowledge, and I hope you can learn something from it today. As Christian said, it's live, so bear with us if some things doesn't work or if we get stuck somewhere, but we'll try breaking it out and adding you some nice CRM to your community here.
Awesome. Sounds exciting, dude.
Yeah. Should I share my screen and get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's jump in.
Okay, cool. I will share my full screen so it's a bit easier because I'm jumping from multiple browsers. You just see that live session. So hello. Let's go over to Lovable. Just short check. You see Lovable. Is everything working?
Yep, we can see everything.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you can see I'm kind of like a user of it. So I have multiple projects there. We're going to build live. The only thing that I prepared is I already set up a Lovable office hour Superbase. So we do not need to wait until Superbase set up the project in our AWS infrastructure or in their AWS infrastructure. So this is the only setting I did before. I have here some cheat sheets, super small. So it's nothing is staged. We're really live. So let's build it. Let's really build a CRM. You need to build a CRM system, and you need to have deals, people, and companies. So let's use instead of people contacts. I think this is a more used term. And yeah, I think this is already good enough. We can say, make it a light theme and use well, let's keep it actually like this. Let's keep it super small. Would you recommend me adding something there?
I think what you've got is great. Always good to start slow and then build up on it, right?
Cool. Then let's go. Let's press. And here we go.
Maybe a question. I'm sure there's people that are like, what the hell is a CRM?
A customer relationship management tool. Like the big names on the market is like Salesforce, HubSpot, Pipedrive, and many more, or SAP as well. So it's one of the first things usually when you start a startup or when you open a business, whatever size you are, you want to keep your customer context somewhere, right? And Google Sheet isn't the greatest place to keep your customer contact data. You might want to interact with it. You might want to really structure it into certain deal stages. There's a whole lot of science around customer relationship management. I remember, I think it was a whole semester in my studies when it came to IT management, how to do customer relationship management properly from a database setup. So it's actually a really complex thing what we're here building the foundation for. So you could take this further. And one of the things I learned in software as a service industry over the last years, CRM projects are usually really customized. That's why a lot of customers we and Make see using CRM systems to automate processes, but actually they're automating shortcomings of these software as a service CRMs because they can't really like fit their use case. And we're going to pick these shortcomings up and we're going to solve them with Make.
Awesome.
And who uses a CRM? Is it like sales teams typically doing outreach and selling? Or?
That's a really good question. While Lovable is running, let's go scroll a bit down so we can see what's actually doing. It's usually starting like with, let's start like with a founder who manages contacts, but later on, of course, after the founder sales period passed, they probably going to hire their first professional salespeople, account managers or account executives. And from there on, of course, later, if you have your first customers onboarded, most CRMs use support system functionality. Some have marketing tooling in there. So a good CRM can spread across the company to business intelligence, to executives to see forecasts on deals, so to measure what we're going to sell this quarter, et cetera, et cetera.
Awesome. And I've got an interesting question here, Sebastian, from Caston, who says, I wonder what you look for personally in a CRM. I imagine it's quite custom, but interesting to know if you have any thoughts around that.
So I remember back when I was purchasing a CRM system for my former startup, I was looking actually for something really simple. And a lot of times these CRM systems comes already with a lot of complexities and sometimes with features you don't need. And then you pay per seat. I mean, the software is a service model that works really well if you need to pay per seat. So these seat payable settings is something I think we are not going to see that often more in the future, even though they're amazing for the stock market because they drive the growth rate, they drive the revenue. But ultimately, imagine you need to pay $29 for 100 people. This is becoming really fast, really expensive for you. So if you can build a lightweight CRM that's already really, really customized to your needs, that might be a really good fit.
Yeah, that's a key thing, right? Like fitting around the processes of your team and like building something that actually enables them. Does a nice job.
And imagine going to the big players of CRM market and saying, yeah, I would like to have that call button there. Or I would like to have that lead enrichment. And, I don't want to use your lead enrichment tool. I don't want to pay for that upgrade. I just want to use my lead enrichment tool that I'm using for some years already. So I think you will get a no from them. And if you can rebuild this with Lovable, that's amazing.
Hell yeah. And Sebastian and the team have very kindly offered to give a free pro plan with 20,000 operations for new accounts. So take advantage of that, scan the QR code, and you guys can get a free account and try out Make. And hopefully with Sebastian's building today, you can build something pretty cool with it as well.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, I think we're close to see how our CRM system is going to look. And yeah, that looks that looks good. What I will not do is I will not work on actually replacing these numbers with super-based data. I think this goes beyond what we can do in 1 hour. But let's really go a bit into the deals and contacts and companies. So first thing I want to change here on the deal side is please introduce 5 deal stages and let me drag and drop deals. It's not super directly related to Make, but I think this is one of the core functionalities you want to have in a CRM, that you want to have deals across the stages. And then we can talk about Make, because if you have different deal stages, you might want to trigger certain email campaigns. You might want to trigger certain actions that the deal should receive based on the stage the deal is in. And this is something where you can really dive deep into Make. We might cover it if we have time today. Let's see where it takes us.
Let's go. Awesome.
Yeah. And really, feel free to use the offer we have here today to sign up for free for plan at Make and earn your pro plan with 20,000 operations. We are going to build live here, so there's nothing staged. You can really copy this and build it into your Lovable project, so you can really experience the power of Make there. And especially when compared to our competitors, Make is actually really, really great and attractive commercial offering there, because if you think about these small integrations and these small scenarios, as we call them, they're not going to use many operations. So actually the cost for you stays really, really low and really attractive to get started.
That's awesome.
So we ran into our first error, but I think we will be able to fix it at that state quite fast.
There's a question from Martin asking, are you going to include any connections with external information or data in your prompt? Like, let's say, other CRM websites?
Pardon, I didn't understand that. It was lacking at my side.
Will we be using Make to connect the CRM with the third-party external information sources?
Yes, we will.
Awesome. There you go, Martin. Stay watching. It's coming. It's coming. Patience.
Okay, I think we run into an issue. Let's try sorting it. Otherwise, I will restore. I am just saying blank white page. Please check.
Cool. And this is the classic, really, just debugging, telling Lovable what you see, and praying and shooting.
Yeah. And I usually started like that simple prompt, And then I started really extending it, like screenshot, telling him go to the network. Hey, you can see here in the console log that I had this issue while loading the page. So that's my experience so far. I started rather like small, and you see it worked. Now let's try drag and drop. Amazingly, it works. Okay,
Nice.
so this could be one of the first actions we're actually going to send to Make. But before I jump to Make, I want to really build out the functionality and connect it then to Make, so we have a clear structure on how we run it. So now we set the deal stages, we have them here, and we can really start interacting with it. Of course, I could make this design better in terms of like the scrollability, but I think this goes beyond the session. So let me move forward to context. In here right now, if I click the profile, nothing happens. Added contact. Okay, so let's do following. Introduce a modal view when clicking contact, and show more options as well as editing options. And right now I realize my prompt could have been sharper because I actually want that all fields become editable, but let's see what Lovable interprets in here. And let's give it some minutes, because I think this makes the user experience way neater if I can just click, it opens a modal view, and I can really dive into it. And this is one of the things I've been always wishing for in CRM systems, because CRM systems operate like you click on the contact and then they open a total new page. I was like, yeah, I just wanted to take a fast interaction with my contact. So maybe somebody from CRM company watches. I think this is one of the great user experiences you could build. Think about how can you operate fast with a contact. And because you're going to operate with hundreds of contacts if you're a good account manager. So let's make the user experience and the process as simple and as fast as possible.
Awesome. We've got some questions around links and getting the promo code after. We're going to send an email out after the live stream with links to all of this, including the Make promo code as well. So don't worry, we got you. We got you.
Nice. Cool. And then maybe a question to you, Harry. I think you used Make before. You also use Lovable together with Superbase and Edge functions. Like, what do you see this power couple of Make with Lovable being interesting for versus maybe going the Superbase Edge functions route?
Yeah, you know what, the cool thing about Make is that everything's on a canvas with nodes, right? So you can really visually design your flows in front of you without having to remember all the different Edge functions and things that you're doing in Superbase. So if you're more of a visual creative person and you want to have control over your different flows and figure out what you're going to do, Make is the perfect whiteboard to be able to do that. And it has hundreds of integrations, so you can easily connect it to a bunch of different apps and create really custom flows for your team. And then it integrates so nicely with Lovable that you can kind of treat it as an API almost. You know, the information goes into Make and then comes out back into your nice Lovable front end. So it's the perfect marriage between the two tools in this case.
Yep. Cool. We also have a question that just came in from Adam. There's probably more people like Adam that just joined the stream and don't know what the hell is going on. So maybe we could do a quick recap on what we're building. So I can try to do that myself. So we're trying to use Lovable together with Make, which is sort of WYSIWYG visual editor for workflows and automations to build basically a custom CRM, a tool that sales teams can use to manage the leads and the contacts they're working with. And there's going to be a bunch of stuff we will integrate as part of the CRM, and we've just got it started. We created an application that has like a CRM skeleton, and I think we're now adding the first features here. That's basically a summary. Woohoo. And we also have Bertram here from the Make team. I didn't do an introduction, but maybe Bertram, now's a good moment to introduce yourself. I just thought that you were also part of the stream.
No worries. Thanks, Christian. Yes, of course. So from my side, also from Make, joining Sebastian here. Sebastian is going to do the majority of the building, and I'm here if you get any questions around Make or so, just put them into the chat, and I'm very happy to answer them.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So let me a bit recap what I did in the meantime. We build, for all the people that just joined, we already built a CRM and we introduced deal stages. We made these cards nicely droppable. So one of the things we will do is when I move a deal forward, that we can trigger actually an automation later that might send out an email that this customer is now in qualification state, or could send out a Slack notification to the team. We added a modal view for the context, so I can easily work with that. And right now we're implementing a call button. And with that call button, then we're going to connect it to Make. And then as next thing, we will, on the company side, introduce the same modal view as well, and a company enrichment. Let's see how the call button looks. Looks good. Understood that I want this extra interface, because we're living in the world of AI now. And when I call someone, I don't want to call him. I want that an AI calls the customer. And of course, I want to tell what the call should be about. So we will connect this later via Vapi AI to call me on my smartphone. And then let's see if this is all going to work. And now, as the next thing, let's dive into the companies. So in here in the companies, we're going to introduce the same modal view.
Awesome. I've got a question here for the Make guys as well. Gainsight says, as a noob, do you have a recipe book or tutorials or anything to help me get started, like using Make for X, etc.? What do you guys have?
I can pick this up. So we have an Make Academy, and our Make Academy, a lot of our customers just yesterday once said this is probably the best online learning experience they got. And I'm really proud that customer talked like this about this. I know how much work the team put in there. So big shout out to our Academy team here, if they're watching. This is one of the best starting places. So you can really go from foundation to intermediate to advanced to all courses. We have an introduction on AI, we have foundations. And as many as you probably know in here, we are about to release agents. So there will be also something around agents in the future. But if you would just want to get started, this is a really, really great place to start. So let me repeat that again, academy.make.com is your place to really get started, to learn how to use Make and connect it to Lovable. Is pretty straightforward. We also have a 3-steps guide that Bertram set up. Cool. Awesome. Now going back. Modal view from context. Oh, sorry, I thought I entered it. So it's 1 minute that we're gonna spare here. Please introduce the modal view from context to companies as well. Okay.
Got a lot of people excited here, Sebastian, about the AI calling. No pressure.
Yeah, I'm confident with that one.
Yeah, nice.
I'm more let's say uncertain when it comes to the company enrichment, because maybe we can already elaborate a bit. Of course, we thought about what we will build today, and I did some test runs previously. And the API return, this will be the magic moment. And yeah, we're gonna start later at the contacts, AI calling, then we're gonna do the companies, and if we have time left, we're gonna do the deal drag and drop, because I think the contacts and company ones are the ones that are definitely mind-blowing and really, really exciting to see how that works. And also introducing some of the connectability to Superbase there if we have still time left.
Awesome.
So while we are waiting for this, I would slowly start connecting it already here to the call contact. I know we'll jump a bit and combine the topics, but I think we can use the time while Lovable is running. So what we want to do here, and recapping it for everybody. So let's say we want to remind this customer to work with us or to accept our offer. We want to call the contacts. Of course, you could make this way better. You can link it to the company. You can link deals, etc., etc. For today, I will not link deals to contacts and companies, because this is going to create really, really complex structure. I did it the last time while I was preparing. It took me about an hour because there's a lot of interdependencies, because you get a lot of variations. I will not do it for today, but what I will do is I will definitely do the call contact functionality in here. So how would it best case work? Let's first check if that worked. Okay, call company. And we're gonna say remove call company from companies and replace with enrich company.
In the meantime, I think there's a good question here from Abhinav for you, Christian, which is, does the watermark appear in the plus model, the Lovable badge?
Paid plans,
Yep.
I guess. So you can disable the badge for any project once you are part of a starter or any other of the paid plans. So, and you do that in project settings.
There's a small toggle. Just go to project settings and you can turn it off.
Yeah. Then I see you're using Sebastian. You're using the select quite a bit there. Are you? It seems like you've done it as part of your workflow. You're really trying to target those edits by selecting it as part of your prompt.
Exactly. And over my learning journey in Lovable, I find it pretty useful to use it, especially when I want to remove or when I want to adjust super small set of the code. So when I go high level, like introducing a modal view like here, it gets really well. But when I do a small change, I realize that using the select option really tells precisely what to do. So let's test it out if it understood it. And yes, it understood it. Now it still shows this panel. And now if I would describe this panel, it's hard. I can do it in human language, but if I just select the div, I can say, remove the modal view from enrich company when clicking, because we would just want to do a different API call. But as we want that the user experience or the interface looks similar as at the context side, I rather go this way than starting a total new prompt.
Awesome. And not to put the Make team on the spot, but there's a couple of people asking if they don't know what they're doing and they don't know how to do stuff in Make. Are we ever going to have a natural language interface where I can type what I want and Make will magically make it? As if by magic, here we are.
Let's try it out. Build webhook to vapi.ai, make an API call module, and use webhook response. So let's see if it does it. I think it's one of the more complex cases because we're going to use making API call module. To be fair, what we've seen, and I think this is also comparable to Lovable here, the approach we took, and this is something we're about to change, we did like one size fits all, and you can see it's like not really doing it as I hoped it does it. So because I actually want to use vapi, make an API call, and it hallucinated because the HTTP request has a higher ranking in our knowledge base compared to vapi. But it helps you if you have bugs, if you have issues. So you could ask, hey, why do I get that red button here? And really guide you through your building experience, links you to Academy, and things like this.
That's awesome. Really helpful if you get stuck, for sure.
Cool. So let's see what happened to my enrichment button. Still not great. But for the time being, I will leave it like this because I think Lovable will better understand it once I come with a real API call and tell, hey, if I click this button, do this API call. So let's now start to get the caller in. I think we are half an hour into the session. I think it's a perfect time to really connect Make to it. And I already selected Vapi here. So first of all, we have an untitled scenario. So I recommend you setting it up. Let me just check if I'm in the right team. I'm in prod. Yes, I thought so. So I need to change first to the right team. So let's start really from scratch. We're going to use here a webhook. For everybody who does not know what a webhook is kind of like an address in the internet. So today we're going to use this as vapi office lovable as ours. And now what you get is you get a webhook address. You can do various things. You can add IP restrictions. So you could add the IP of Lovable, or if you're hosting this, for example, in Supabase or in Vercel, you could set your IP restrictions to either Supabase or Vercel, depending what fires the API request. You can also define data structures, headers, HTTP requests. So you can actually do a lot of these things. We also are having secured webhooks. But this is a higher plan feature. For the most customers, this works quite well. So now what it does, and you've seen when you set it up, it actually asks for the data structure to be determined. And what I will do now is I will head over to Lovable back, and I will tell Lovable now, cool. So when I submit this, please shoot the name, phone number, company, and call goal to this webhook as a JSON object. So let's see.
And I've got a question. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just got a question from Ashish, which says, can we add the API documentation of a particular framework and custom knowledge? You can. You could go and take your make automations and put them in custom knowledge, so Lovable always knows what's going on. And it's a really great way to make sure Lovable knows what's going on in this case.
As this question just got asked, I will pick up something I wanted to show you later, but I think it makes right now perfect sense. So Make is known for automate the automation. What does it mean? Make has the most extensive API of all automation platforms. We have over 400 API endpoints. So whatever you can do in the front end, you can control completely by source code. So what you could do is you could go to your Lovable knowledge base and you could set, hey, interact with my data stores, and here is the API call for it.
Perfect.
So you can really teach Lovable how to interact and how to integrate Make into it. And you can fully control Make via API. That brings me to another point. We're using right now webhooks. Who's an expert in IT knows there's some downsides to it. So if you want to execute potentially some of these scenarios that are the dummy ones I prepared, I'm not going to use them because we're going to build it live. You could use also scenarios, and you can run a scenario via an API call. So you do not need the webhook. This is more complex. We don't want to show you this today because it's definitely way more complex. If this is interesting, please post it in the comments, because we can work on making this really, really easy to use in Lovable and really build deep integration there.
Awesome. Hopefully that answers everybody's questions in that regard. Cool. Thanks for showing us.
Cool. There's a question here by Ricardo saying, so we can use Lovable as a front end for AI automation. Yes, that's the core answer to that question and the reason behind this session.
So it might have been really fast right now for who did not pay attention to it. I'm sorry. So what I did is I actually pressed call the contact. It determined my data structure. And what I will do is I will just do it again so everybody sees what happened here. Sell me Lovable and Make. So, and now what happens is it sends the data as you saw to Make.
Nice.
Awesome.
This is huge, exactly as you said. It takes that data from here. Of course, this could be live super-based data, but right now we're using the stage data, and you can now interact with it in Make. So what we want to do is that it calls me on WAPI. We're going to go here, make an API call. I have my connection here, I have my URLs, all of this. Now, this is quite complex to set up, and we're working right now with WAPI on actually enhancing this application here. It looks great, but for today's purpose, it goes a bit beyond because I actually want to use a custom prompt. That's why I prepared already, I prepared already an API call for this. So you can really see it's a lot of JSON configuration, and I will just copy, and this is also something really nice you can do. You can just copy, paste modules from your scenarios in Make.
Look at that, so easy.
Yeah, really. Like, of course, this is a bit more complex, but here we can give some customer project. This helps with the customer, with the company, and the contact name is in this case Leslie, and the goal is this one, And I think that's all the fields. I have, in this case, my phone number hard-coded, but we could, of course, use a customer phone number. I will not do this for the time being. Now, no, I saved it. Cool. Now I turn on the scenario, and yeah, maybe someone can tell me in the chat, and guys, tell me please then what the person wants. Tell me what's the goal of the call, and I will put it in, and let's see if it starts selling me that goal.
Let's see all the SaaS boys and the indie makers come in. Come on, sell us your product. Tell us what you want, and Sebastian will sort out the call. Let's see. There's a slight delay with chat, so we'll just have to wait for 2 seconds.
Maybe while we wait, Sebastian, what is VAPI? Because I think maybe that's a question many users are asking. What exactly does VAPI enable? I mean, I know you've set up here like a request with the information from that is sent through the webhook, and what is VAPI? What's that building block?
Yeah, exactly. I'm super happy to explain you a bit about VAPI. Let me just log in with my VAPI account. So as you see, I have like multiple dashboards and multiple browser sessions because I have different accounts and different browsers. So right now, this is like my kind of like private playground, what I use. You can create virtual assistants. These are like kind of like BDRs, SDRs. Some of you might know like 11x with their fancy calling agent. You can imagine it like this, but you can build it yourself. So you can use VAPI as your caller. If you have someone in your company that's calling customers, you might actually be able to use VAPI for this kind of task.
Awesome.
So it allows me to configure phone numbers. It allows me to create workflows, which is like kind of like getting data, getting forth. I can configure tools. So I actually have the possibility to directly interact from VAPI also with Make. When you click here on create a tool and you click on function, you can really like define all these things, and it then shoots it over to Make. In this case here, we have the server URL. This is again the same principle with webhooks, but we're not here today to explain you VAPI in detail. So this may be something for a different session. What's the call goal? What should I use in here?
Well, we've got some very questionable ones. I think one of my favorites is sell meme coins from Elon Musk, but maybe that's a bit questionable. We've got some good ones though that are like pretty standard for a CRM. Reminder of a discovery call that we have.
Okay, it's already calling me. Sorry to interrupt you. I will pick that call. Hello. Who is there?
This is Seb from Make.
Yeah, cool. What do you sell me today?
Listen up, Jane. Forget everything you think you know about AI. Today, I'm not selling you software. I'm selling you of your business. We're talking Make, the AI enabler that's going to catapult Apple Inc. into 2025 and beyond.
What's the goal of the call?
The goal is to show you how Make can supercharge Apple Inc.
That did not work. And I can tell you why it did not work. I assume it's my assistant itself because I'm using this assistant ID here. And it's not overwriting my system prompt entirely because I'm appending my system prompt here with this message. So your hi agent for, let's try the call goal again, revolutionary, and let's remove all of this. Helps for your goal, and you need to sell to the company. You're about to call the prospect, about introducing him the game, and this is the challenge here. Here's the additional, and it is the additional. Here's the goal that you should value highest. Now let's try this again. Sell me meme coins from Elon Musk. Okay, we'll just make sure I save this one. We're gonna run it, and you don't need to click run once. I just like to see that fancy animation. I get again the call. Let's see. Hello.
Hello, this is Seb from Make.
Hey, how can I help you?
Jane, my name is Seb, and let me be blunt. I'm about to make you a fortune. Forget Apple's next big thing. I'm talking about the next big thing, period. We're talking meme coins, baby. And not just any meme coins. We're talking meme coins. Think Dogecoin on steroids, injected with pure, unadulterated rocket fuel potential. We're talking about an investment so lucrative.
Okay, I think you get it. It really now valued the meme coin. I made this agent.
I was getting Wolf of Wall Street penny stocks vibes with the
Exactly. This is why, because I put in here this Wolf of Wall Street, confident, pure-sative dynamic. I think it's for these demos fun. Yeah, but of course you can tweak this to real world, because this example is just like a bit funny, but you get it, right? You can like really make this huge and customize it completely to your customer. So you can put in here a goal that's unique to your customer, and you can call him based on this goal. And of course you can build way more on it.
Awesome. Chat is loving it. They're all taking the mick out of the way they pronounce the meme coins or mimi coins.
In case you're using VAPI and you're using 11 Labs, I'm just sharing you some knowledge. API pronunciation. So you can create, and you might remember this from school, that you have these, how are things pronounced? Okay, so if you're having a lot of these custom words from your industry, and you want to make sure it pronounces these things correctly, I would recommend you connecting 11 Labs to VAPI and create a custom dictionary of your pronunciation. So it's not meme coins, it's meme coins next time.
Nice. So really good. Lots of people with Wolf of Wall Street relations in chat go for the pink sheets. Tell me this pen. Oh, it's great.
Exactly.
Nice.
Cool.
Some other questions quickly on this one, Seb, like latency, like standard questions around that. What's your experience?
I mean, you just experienced, right? I had to interrupt you because it was so fast.
So good. Yeah, really fast. I don't think you need to worry about it too much by the looks of things.
Okay. Now let's go to Make, and let's set up our next thing. So we have in here, I will go there and being sure this is, well, I will rebuild this enrich functionality completely live now because it's a bit easier. So again, we start with a custom webhook, and we're going to create a new one. You always need single webhooks. You cannot reuse the same one unless you want to go with a router and create a lot of complexity in your Make scenario. You can do this. I wouldn't recommend you doing this. There are certain cases when it makes sense, but for now, let's not dive deeper into them. So this is my enrich. And here we go. And I will just copy this, and I will go back here. And what we will do now is, let me just cancel this. So we can enrich the company based on the domain. What I see now is that it doesn't have the domain in the overview, but it has the domain actually in here in the example data. So first of all, what I will tell it is add the domain to the modal view. And from there, what we will do next is when I click the enrich button, do following things. Step 0, remove the modal that opens, not needed anymore. Then first real new step is going to be send the domain as JSON to following webhook. Second is you will receive a webhook response as JSON, and you need to dynamically parse this into the modal. And this is a massive thing what we are building here right now. If I had to code this, I would spend 2 days on that. the dynamic parsing into the front end of unknown data. This is massive, really. This is massive. You will receive a web response as JSON. You need to parse this into the modal view. So create dynamic fields. Okay, this should be good. And what we're gonna do now, before I fire this up, okay, this looks good. We have the webhook address. We're gonna turn this save. This is definitely enrich. Okay, we're gonna run this. And I'm just gonna call it enrich. So I have some structure in case I lose it. Okay, and now let's send it. So let's see. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think you did a couple of very interesting things in how you wrote your prompt. I love the structure. So giving it like steps on what you expect to happen. I think that was very nice. I love the use of caps when you were trying to highlight something importantly. In this case, it was dynamically. That was very clear in the prompt. So I think a lot of people could take a lot of inspiration on how you wrote that specific prompt and bring it to their own projects. So kudos for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Then maybe also, like, I just wonder whether people know what enriching means in this context. So maybe a good chance to just maybe explain a little bit about what should happen when sending this domain and clicking on the enrich button.
Okay, so when I click here, what should happen is that there's new forms and new fields added dynamically based on what we get back from the webhook. Let's see. So if I click this now, fail to enrich company, this is good because we just got the URL. Perfect. Okay, so what I will do now is I will go to Apollo, or I will use Apollo for this case, and I will also use make an API call for this. And here I have to go back and sneak preview a bit what I built previously because I don't have all of these steps in my head anymore.
Nobody blames you, Sebastian. It's the case usually with these live builds. You've got this.
Yeah.
You've got this.
So, but for me, it's really important to show where I got this from. Okay, so here I have V1 organizations enriched domain. So when you're like new to it, you go to Apollo. Apollo is a CRM, but also an enrichment platform. It's quite attractive and there are commercial offers. And I go in this case to the enrichment API and I click started. And here I have so many endpoints where Make does not have all the modules for. So in here, what we have is we have the possibility to use actually the organizations. So let's go to organizations, organization enrichment. And what it expects is just a simple domain, enrich, and then we go and it wants to get and just use string required domain as query parameters. What is a query parameter? It's pretty straightforward. It is basically this. When you see behind a URL and its path, this is the path we want, organizations, that's a path. And with a question mark, all the query parameters start. Okay, now I will just go and I will just copy this and just enter it here. In this case, it changed domain to website. I will save it. For the demo purposes, I did not set up a new API key. I hope this works still. And what I will do now is, and this is a really cool functionality we just introduced this week to Make, is we're basically able to return the whole bundle. Oh, not this one. We're going to return this whole bundle. So whatever came out of it, let's see if it works. And what I recommend you in this case, and I think this is really, really important when you work with webhook integrations in Lovable, you should use JSON as content type. You might remember my cheat sheet. I have this here, so I don't make any typo. I paste the key. The key is always what stands before the double point, and then we have the value as application JSON. So what I will do now is I will save this. I will turn it on. And if we're lucky, it works directly. If we're not lucky, and I actually hope we're not lucky, because then I can demo you real power of Lovable, that we are able to enrich the company. So let's go to umbrella.com. I don't actually know if umbrella is. Wow, it worked.
Nice, look at that.
Actually did it. It did not do the dynamic things, but okay.
So what
I
happened?
hope
You can zoom in a bit more because maybe people are not reading exactly the response there, but you added, so the company to enrich was umbrella.com, and the information that you see there is all the details of this company that you fed.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So for me as no, I don't want to do Microsoft updates right now. Sorry. Let's go for apple.com. I think Apple is also a pretty known company. So what it does, it basically returns all the data it has publicly available from the Apollo enrichment service. So in here we get all the services, all these things returned, and also like the postal address, and so on and so forth. So when you're working with companies and you don't have all the data about these companies to actually start identifying, is this the right company I want to work with? Then, of course, you can use this enrichment functionality to enrich all that data. Let's say you would not know the amount of employees or the date founded, so these fields would be empty. You could build functionality in Lovable that when you click the enrich button, that it actually parses that data back and saves it to Supabase. It's literally one prompt, but as this did not fully work, because it's not dynamically creating fields, I would like to work on this a bit more. I will just tell it, you did not create the response in dynamic fields. Okay, let's see if that is going to work. Did not create the response of the body in dynamic fields. You can scratch the headers. Okay.
So just for me to understand, Sebastian, what you're trying to do now is present it in a prettier form. Is that basically what you're looking for? Okay.
Exactly. Because I don't think that this is really human readable.
Yep.
And I would like to have this in a nicer way.
Nice. A lot of people in chat pretty excited about this. People are getting some ideas now about how to use Make and Lovable to build out some of their own applications, which is cool.
Why it's loading, let me give maybe some more use cases. What you could do is you could say, hey, add this contact to our newsletter. Or we have various campaigns. Let's say you're running 3-4 different email campaigns or calling campaigns. You could select the campaign from here, sync it to Supabase, take it from Supabase. So you could actually also start directly from Supabase. So we have a Supabase integration. You would not need only the webhook. You can use the webhook if you want to have something instantly, but you could also watch new events when something is changed in Supabase and take action from there. This might be in some cases more efficient, but if you want to have like this real-time excitement, use a webhook or the API as I elaborated previously.
Awesome.
And maybe to mention, as there were a couple of questions around, can I integrate this and this tool? For most of them, the answer is yes. So I'm just posting a link to the integrations page of Make where you can check out which tools we got integrations for.
Awesome.
Let's go. That looks amazing. Look at those fields.
This looks great.
Really, really good. I would just do one more loop here, and this is make sure we don't have JSON in any field. Structure this. Okay, let's see. I mean, it should create like subfields. That would be the goal. I will just tell it the problem. So let's see how that goes. Cool. So yeah, I think we showed the two big use cases here. Of course, you can create way more complex scenarios. So you could go and when we're talking about for example, VAPI caller, you could take in also more context from for example, Apollo or other services. You could also add a database where you log the phone call to it. You could also add a human in the loop in there to make sure, yeah, it calls somebody who's like really supposed to be called, things like this. So sky's the limit in terms of your automation capabilities. It's kind of straightforward in here and really easy to consume. It's a really nice interface. I hope the webhook example is precise and clear. And let's see if this works now with apple.com, enrich the company. Here we go. No more JSON. This looks good. It really did it. Nice, nice, perfect.
Clean.
So of course now we could work on getting this data synced to Supabase or not. As there was one person yesterday in LinkedIn commenting, hey, how could I make it secure? Because right now, if you stole or if you are a bit of a more technical person and if you go to your network, for an internal tooling, that's not an issue. But if you're having if you offer this as a software as a service, it becomes pretty fast an issue, because what's in here, you can really see the API call. Okay, so you can really see there is a fetch request, and you can really see how it calls Make from your network, and you're able to hack basically that webhook. And that's a downside. So you might actually want to use Supabase edge functions to move the enrichment company click into Supabase. So what you could do, and I will just describe it high level because I think we're not going to add Supabase in the next 4 minutes to it. So what I would recommend you doing if you are offering this to customers, again, if you're just using it for your own purpose in your own company as a CRM, I wouldn't do it. I would just add some IP protection or some simple password to the webhook in a query parameter. But if you're offering it to customers, I would do following. I would say, please, when clicking the enrich button, use a Supabase edge function to hide the API call to the webhook address. You need to change there for the functionality and actually hiding the API call. I intentionally expressed this 2 times because we need to change the functionality. I can fire this. Let's see how far we come in 3 minutes.
I'm excited. I've got some general questions around like non-developers using Make and Lovable. I'd like to think that they're pretty good for just about any technical level, right? Like it's pretty easy to put these flows together. And Lovable is similar, being able to prompt. And then as Sebastian showed us with the Make AI assistant, you can ask any questions, and they also have the Academy as well if you want to learn anything about Make as well in this case.
Yeah. So what I did is I now connect to Supabase. It's now connected, and now it's actually creating the edge function. So this is how you secure your API calls from within Supabase. And this goes for like all API calls. So in case you're natively integrating the Make API documentation, you can do it already today. I would recommend you can literally just copy paste this. You can use your API key. You can tell Lovable, hey, please put this into your API key secret vault, and then use that API key later on when you're using this API request. So you can actually deeply integrate Make via API into Lovable and use this for all the complex functionality. What I found myself struggling in one of the projects I built with Lovable is that I have no insights into the edge function. So I cannot adjust JavaScript code there myself, or cannot really debug it. I always have to go via Lovable. Of course, I could install the NPM on my computer and then set up the Supabase development environment, but then I'm getting from wipe coding to full coding, and then I need to save it. Then I don't know if Lovable is having the actual status of what the function is doing, because I changed it myself and not Lovable changed it. So there's actually a lot of these things that might be risky. So I actually recommend you, if you're going and build really complex back-end functionality, you could really use Make for this to perform it, because you can visually control it. I mean, this is way more consumable than some hidden Supabase edge function that is just written in code.
Super. All right. We are at minute 59 of our session. And just to recap what we built a small CRM, at least the skeleton of a CRM with very nice mocked UI. And we've implemented some really cool functionality thanks to Make. We've basically created two things. We have the ability to call customers using an AI powered by Make and Vappy. And then the second thing we implemented was like an enrich functionality that basically fetches information through Make using the Apollo integration and gives you a bunch of information on the company you're trying to do outreach on. So very, very powerful use cases. And I think this is just an example, really. There are two examples of the hundreds or thousands of things you could set up together. And I think we're only sort of brushing on the level of complexity of automations you could build with Make. So it's been super, super interesting, and I think this is a super relevant live stream for many of our users that are probably thinking about how they can automate things. So I've particularly found this very fun.
Yes,
very fun session.
Very interesting.
Yes.
And if you want to get started with Make, we've got the promo code up on the screen again that Sebastian Bertram very kindly shared with us. You can get a free month with a new account and then 20,000 operations with that account as well. So go scan that QR code, make your Make account, see if you can make something similar to what Sebastian has made today. Get Elon Musk to call you trying to sell meme coins and such. But it's been a really cool session. Yeah. Really cool session.
Maybe I'm seeing a couple questions on like how you should use this together with Supabase. Is this a replacement? I would say they kind of serve different purposes. You can combine them if wanted. You can create solo lovable apps with Make alone. You can do it in combination with Supabase, and Sebastian showed you how you can listen to events from Supabase and kind of build integrations on top of that. So it's a bit depending on the use case, and there's no clear answer. But I'm sure once you test it, you'll get a feel about what's the best fit for depending on what you're trying to sort of solve. But having said that, I think, we had a great live session. We're going to do more of these going forwards. They're always live. They tend to be Thursdays at 6.
Yep.
And we'll probably have a bunch of similarly interesting guests like Make going forwards. But maybe before wrapping up, just a huge thank you to Sebastian and Bertrand for coming and joining us on one of these sessions and showing what's possible. Any words on your sides before wrapping up?
Thanks for being here. It was amazing, and I'm so glad everything worked out and that we were able to cover most of the topics. So yeah, thanks, and see you soon.
We did it. We did it. And just a quick reminder, if you want to watch any of the live streams from previously, you can go on our YouTube channel and check that out. They're all there. The previous ones that we've done with others, the Make episode will be up there as well. So if you want to follow Sebastian along and build your own thing in Make, you should be able to do that as well. Sorry, Baron, I cut you off there. You're more than welcome to say something.
All good, all good. Looking forward to see what you guys are building.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See you soon.